try!
All right, we've got Stephen Hoiles back from his jaunt in Hong Kong. How was it, mate?
It was good.
You feeling fresh?
Yeah, I was a little bit tired when I got back. First time to Hong Kong, but pretty exciting place. It's a must-see for every rugby fan. Just stay hydrated and make sure you eat meals in between beverages.
Mate, well, it looked like there was plenty to do over there. You were having heaps of fun going all around tourist hotspot, but to Super Rugby. Actually, first of all, stadium deal just been announced this afternoon. What do you make of it? A revamped ANZ. There was all that debate about Allianz. That looks like it's going to be pushed back until the mid-2020s or whatever, ages away. What do you make of the stadium deal?
Yeah, there's a big battle going on. I also enjoy playing at Homebush. When you have big crowds, that's an amazing stadium too. The only issue with Homebush is that there's sort of nothing around the precinct for, the Moore Park have the cafe and the gym, and that attracts a lot of members just for that. So I believe that ANZ is going to do something very similar. And, I'm just a bit concerned that the Tars have that home base at Moore Park, and they're talking about taking it out or having no home base for a few years. That was a bit of a concern. So it's been in the paper a lot though, hasn't it?
It has. They're saying ANZ will now be the best venue in the Southern Hemisphere, but I disagree. As a Queensland boy, nothing beats Suncorp Stadium. But on to Super Rugby. There's plenty of action this weekend. The Rebels against the Canes. Rebels back after the bye, after beating the Tars the week before, and no changes. Rebels, are they fancies now? Do you reckon beating the Hurricanes, who've scored 40 points in a row in their last 3 matches?
Yeah, I think one thing most people have had wrong with the Rebels this year, when we've backed them, they've lost, and when we haven't backed them, they've won.
So they get off them?
They're pretty hard to read at the moment. They've just had inconsistent form, but they are a group that are in the right age to put some good performances together. Again, we've spoken a lot about Sturzaker, but he's hardly played much footy. He's come off the bench once, started one game, got a head knock.
Starts this game.
So they're still really yet to get great combinations in that 9-10 area, which is pivotal. So I think they can win, but you're coming up against a red-hot Cane side, and as you know, the Kiwi sides at the moment, the Kiwi sides are in good form.
The Waratahs Brumbies on Saturday night, a huge Australian derby. Is it the end of the Tars season? Is it a write-off now if they lose this one?
Yeah, from a semi-final point of view, I don't think they can play semis if they lose this game. It'll, not only from a position on the ladder, just from a psychological point of view, like this will really dampen their spirits. This is, in my opinion, the one that, the make or break game of their season, so it's a huge one.
Israel Folau at outside centre, what do you make of that shift? It's been talked about so much. Are you glad to see it finally happen?
I've never really been too fussed about that, just because I like the fact that if he's in the front line, he'll get a lot more starter play ball. I'm sure you'll see him defending at fullback at times because that's where he makes so many damaging runs. So I think it's just a beat up from the media people that he's playing in the centres. Like, I'm sure it'll be nice to see him do something different. But with Israel Folau, they've just got to find ways to get him the ball more often.
Itavea, very sad news midweek with forced into early retirement with those ongoing heart conditions. You knew him and you played with him down at the Brumbies.
Yeah, I had a lot to do with it. I saw him come through the academy system, and he was a remarkable guy when he came through. His story was pretty unique. He played Tongan under-20s and was picked up from the Brumbies academy there. I know he'd be struggling at the moment, and it's pretty daunting for a footy player to have their career cut short. So I hope that the game and the Brumbies in particular, I'm sure they will support him, not just financially but emotionally, because it's a pretty tough thing that he's going through at the moment. But he's been amazing for Brumbies rugby.
A huge loss to Australian rugby and to the ACT as well. The Reds play late on Saturday night, early Sunday morning against the Bulls. Got to ask you, there was a bit of commentary after their win against the Highlanders, obviously the defending champions, that they performed so well because they went into Wallabies camp the weekend before and got a bit of a rev up and really wanted to put it online. What do you make of that sort of commentary?
I think that's a little bit disrespectful to the Reds, the coaching staff. Although that's their first win of the season, Richard Graham got through 2 weeks and was moved on, and Nick Stiles and Matt O'Connor have come in, and you saw a remarkable improvement between round 2 and round 3 in terms of their commitment. They went down to Melbourne and they've fought closely for about 4 games in a row now, and they just haven't won until the weekend. So I think that they turned the corner from an attitude point of view, and it was nice to see them get the results. So they've worked really hard, and you've had Samu Kerevi play his best game, Carmichael Hunt play his best game, Liam Gill, you know what he had. So they're starting to get their best players playing good footy, and that helps because they're a much better side than the latter shows.
Carmichael Hunt, you mentioned him. Some saying that was his best ever game. It seems like we've been saying that a few times this season. Is he a Wallabies bolter for the June series?
I certainly think he's in contention. he adds a huge amount of spark, and what I've been really impressed with Carmichael in his short time in the game, his breakdown works really good. So he understands when it's time to commit hard, when it's time to pull back. He makes tackles, he gets to his feet, he makes his body, he imposes his body on defensive rucks, and he's a pretty savvy player, and the parts of the game you would not expect, and we all know what he can do with ball in hand, and his experience, he just looks really calm for that side, and he's probably played, 15 Super Rugby games, but he just looks like he's a calm and influence. So, yeah, and I'd like to see him in an environment under Michael Checker and Stephen Larkham and Nathan Gray, and just to see how good he can be. So yeah, I'd actually be surprised if I don't see him in a Wallaby jersey this year.
Huge call. Well, big news for the Reds as well, with Brad Thorne joining the assistant coaching ranks just today, and as well Caleb Timu, Brisbane Broncos forward, has made the convert to rugby midway through the league season. There's some raps on him after he played schoolboys. What have you seen of him?
Well, you said he's a convert, but he's a rugby boy that went to league, is that right?
Yeah. Double convert, dual convert.
I haven't, to be honest, I haven't seen him, but from what I've heard, he's exactly what the Reds need, a big ball carrying forward. So be interested to see how he goes. Has he started now, or is it for next season?
He starts midway through this season.
Okay.
And then
he's not in Africa with them at the moment?
He's not in Africa at the moment. They'll come back, and neither's Brad Thorne. But
maybe we'll see them both back playing together. Who knows?
It would be very interesting to see. Well, what's your tips for the round then? First up, Rebels, Canes.
I'm going to go the Canes in this one.
Waratahs, Brumbies.
I'm backing the Tars. Come on, boys. It's your last chance.
And then Bulls, Reds.
It's just a tough place to win at Loftus. The Highveld, I'm going to have to go the Bulls.
Mate, you're a positive rugby man. You've just thrown all your support behind Australian rugby. Well, we're going to enjoy all the previews on Rugby.com.au and check out all the reaction and highlights from the weekend.